What do you make of Senator Warren's letter first to the SEC?
Not new arguments, similar to what we've heard from her in the past when it comes to Tesla, Elon Musk, and the governance of Tesla, the board of directors. She says there's a financial conflict of interest, there's a lack of oversight, a lack of disclosure, and as a result, shareholders are hurt because of that relationship. Not surprisingly, Elon Musk, and he's heard this before, he tweeted out today, you know, it seems like Senator Karen, and that's what he refers to Senator Warren as, Senator Karen is getting her cues on this complaint from SBF's dad, SBF being Sam Bankman-Fried. He has long said, look, Sam Bankman-Fried's father advised Senator Warren's staff in the past, and therefore she's taking her cues from him. So we've heard these concerns from Senator Warren in the past regarding Elon Musk. I'm not sure that the SEC is going to do something specifically because of this letter, but we have heard this from her in the past.
Yeah, no fan clearly of Elon Musk, and the no fanism is reciprocated. Dan Levy, let's turn to you and talk more about the business of Tesla right now. How's it going, and what are their plans to overcome this slowdown, which is not just in the U.S., but more globally in EV sales, in China, for example?
Hey, hi, Tyler. Thank you so much for having me.
Sure.
Look, we are in the midst of what we call, or what many have called, an EV winter. We're looking at EV sales that have certainly slowed. There is still growth, but it's certainly a reset on the growth expectations. And when you look at it regionally, China is still humming along, but in a place like Europe, we just revised our forecasts to basically flat year-over-year growth or slightly above that. And when you look at Tesla is certainly at the prime of this. So they're going to be reporting 1Q deliveries the next week, or in a week plus. And we think that you're going to see some of those impacts of the sort of EV winter, slowdown in China, impact from the roll-off of subsidies in Europe. And this is certainly questioning the pace of growth for them going forward. We're looking for something in the 420 to 425 range. Some of the data points we heard out of China imply some downside to that that came out this morning.
So 420,000 to 425,000 units in that first quarter. The consensus is a little higher, 468,000. So a modest sort of cut there from Dan. Phil, why are electric vehicles losing their popularity?
Depends on the market. Look, they're still growing in terms of sales, Tyler.
But not as fast.
What you have, let's talk about the United States. You've got two major headwinds going on right now. One of them is pricing. And yes, Tesla fans like to say, well, look, you can buy the Model 3, and with the government incentive, you can get it down in the $30,000 to $35,000 range. But the fact of the matter is the average transaction price for Teslas and for all EVs is higher than that. And there's just not a lot of options across the board for the entire industry when it comes to EVs that are moderately priced. And then the other headwind that is out there here in the U.S. that really bothers a lot of people considering going electric is the lack of a public infrastructure when it comes to charging, a reliable one. Yes, you have the Tesla supercharging network, but separate from that, Tyler, you don't have enough chargers, and they frankly don't charge fast enough. I think a lot of people are increasingly saying, if I'm going to charge up a vehicle, I do not have hours on end to spend here. This idea of have a snack and wait for it to be charging, that's not going to fly with people when they're looking at buying an EV.